Hey guys, I'd like to talk about the recent events that happened at Maryland. Well, if you're not aware, there was a 14-year-old girl who got forcefully pushed into a bathroom and then sexually assaulted, raped, sodomized by two illegal immigrants. They were underage, so immediately they put them in education in school. They were about 18 to 17 years old, and they put them in the same class with ninth graders. Now, that's a huge difference in age, and I really don't think you should be putting that big of a gap of kids with each other to begin with, regardless of what culture they come from. But, you know, what's pretty bad about that is a lot of the teachers were trying to hide that fact from a lot of the parents because they didn't want them to know, you know, that they're letting in pretty much illegals into their school at varying ages. Because obviously they realized that the parents would be like, hey, why the fuck is my 13-year-old daughter in a class with 18-year-olds, right? And second of all, the way they raped that girl seems to me like they've done it before or they've seen stuff like that before. It really didn't seem something new to them. So this is something that they've clearly done before and they would do again because I don't think they felt any remorse for it. Now, the bigger issue really comes down to immigration and illegal immigration. Like, this is a big problem in the United States. It's a problem here in Canada too, but even a much bigger issue in the United States. They're literally letting people into their country who add no value and who are just committing an excess amount of crimes compared to the native population or the people that come in legally through the legal means. Now, they're raping, killing people all the time. This is not a rare occurrence, but it happened recently, and it's going to be covered in the media, but things like this generally aren't. And now that social media is getting bigger and bigger and has more of an influence, it's kind of forcing the media to cover these things. Like, after this attack happened, literally no organizations covered it. I was on Twitter, it was on other things, but very few stations covered it other than local news. So, the thing about fake news today is it's not really what they're showing you, it's what they're not showing you. A lot of the stuff they're not showing you, so people have a false idea of what, is really going on and how people really are. Like when Trump said that they're not sending their best, he's sending rapists and murderers, he was telling the truth. The Mexican government literally goes to prisons, goes to their populations that are criminals, and tells them to go to America. And this is because your stupid laws. Your dreamer laws, and then making kids, and then, eventually giving people green cards, and, just allowing illegals to be into your country, giving them licenses. California is the worst for that, so it doesn't surprise me that something like that would happen there. So I think people just need to think about their policies and, the effects that they're actually going to have. The illegal immigrants, that's bad for, violence, stuff like that too, but that's not it. There's also jobs. A lot of these people, they take the natives' jobs of the country. Now people are like, oh, they shouldn't be working those jobs, this, and that. But in reality, these jobs need to be done, and they're gonna have to be done by somebody. So bringing people in and they're just gonna be working under the table, they can justifiably get paid less, right? So why would the employer hire you if they can just get somebody else for cheaper? And there's really not going to be any repercussions for it either, right? So this literally takes jobs from people, and it brings down wages because this is basic economics. When you flood a market with stuff, with a product, that product, the price of it is going to go down. It's the same way with humans. So these Americans, they need to change their laws, and they really need to get strict. They need to punish people who sell to illegals. They need to stop funding sanctuary cities, cut their funding completely. And this blood, this rape, is on the liberals' hands. They're the ones who caused this. They're the ones with the bleeding hearts who think everybody's the same, all cultures are the same, you know, it's their fault. It's literally their fault. So when these things happen, always think about that and remember that, you know, people are different wherever you go, but we can't just keep importing different cultures here that don't really coalesce with ours, especially since the age for legal consent in Mexico is 12 years old. So is this really surprising that they would do this? No, it isn't. You know, you can legally rape in those countries. Why do we think that they're going to come here and think it's okay? It's not okay anymore, right? And why should we pay to teach them this? You know, we should have borders. Anybody who believes in open borders is a moron, and they shouldn't really have their opinion heard. Like, you know, you can have your opinion heard, but I'm not going to listen to it, and nobody else should. So, you know, these types of attacks, these things will continue to happen. They'll continue to happen unless something is done about your illegal immigration problem. So, you know, don't listen to the media. Try to look at alternative facts and give them your support instead, because the media is just lying to you. They're for corporations. They're for big business. They don't care about you. So, you know, these migrants that are coming in, or these refugees or whatever, they're just good for big business. They bring down their costs, but they're not good for the middle class. So we need to just wake up and have borders. You know, enforce your laws. All these laws in the States, like, there are laws on the books to get these people out, but they're just not being enforced. Just enforce your laws. But that's about it. Have a good day.